Hey guys, it's Ted with the video tip of the day. This one comes from a conversation I was having earlier today with one of my clients. Guy called me with a question about how he was setting up his pricing, and that led us into that pricing wasn't the only thing he was doing. Of course, how does it dovetail in? Because then we started talking about different prices and how it affects your sales, your marketing, and the rest of everything, because it's all a piece, and there's not like a single piece of information people are missing. It's usually how that piece of the puzzle fits into everything. So we're going to talk about three big areas that we work with, and this video might go a little longer than sometimes some of the ones I do, because I usually keep them to about 10 minutes. But this one might go a little longer. I don't know, see how quick I can do it. So the three big areas first are numbers. Now I could talk about this stuff for days and weeks if I wanted to. I'm not going to, but the first thing is the numbers and your understanding of them and how they fit into everything you're doing. So it's your costs, understanding what your costs really are, not kidding yourself, not saying, oh, I'm a small company with only one or two or three employees, so my costs are different than anybody else's, and understanding what they really are, getting a really good handle on that. Then the accounting, meaning you have an accounting system, usually QuickBooks or something, especially if you're tying it to something like Service Titan or House Call Pro or Field Edge or ThermalGrid or any of those. They all usually tie to QuickBooks, but you got to have an accounting system in place, and not just the software systems, but you have to have an accounting system so that your office flow works, so that you understand that you're getting the things input into the system when they're supposed to with office staff or yourself or whoever's doing that. So you have to have a system for that. Then there's the pricing, of course, which is why this guy called me. Setting your prices at whatever you set them at so that you're profitable and you know what your numbers are. And the KPIs are also part of the numbers. KPIs are key performance indicators, so those are things like your closing ratio and your average ticket and all these other numbers that you want to know to be able to manage your business well. So the gist of the question we had today was, hey, if I set my price here, is this a good number to use? And then we started talking about, well, if you use that number, then the question is, are you going to sell at the new number you're setting? Because he was just doing replacement prices. So that leads us to the second piece, which is sales. I don't have a lot of line items here, although we can go for a lot of these. But basically the most important thing in the sales world is you got to have a system for it. You can't just be kind of winging it. If you're trying to do that, then you're not necessarily able to track what's working, what's not working, and then improve it or get better at it or keep doing what is working. I also have it down where scripts, and I have a big red circle with a big line through it because I don't like scripts. I don't like big, thick script books, in other words. I think there's sort of scripts. I think of it more like bullet points more than it is a verbatim word for word thing, because it needs to be a natural conversation and it needs to be a system of doing that. The system we do has 5 parts to it, and once you know what the 5 parts are, then you can kind of just go into any conversation with a client and understand what we're trying to accomplish. And that would be any of your people should be able to do that. Any of your phone people or your field people should be able to have a conversation with a customer, building rapport with them, making sure that you like them, they like you. Then we have a real conversation about what's really going on. We uncover the truth. We size up what we can do for them, and then we sell them whatever needs to be done to fix their problem. So it really comes down to having that system in place and being good at it and training on it all the time. So that's the sales part. Then we get to the marketing piece, and the marketing piece is something that can get, I'm going to swing this door shut here. Marketing piece is something that has a lot of parts to it, and we can talk about this for a very long time. I'll touch on some of the high parts. The first thing is you have to have a message, and your message, I don't know what your message is going to be because I can't give it to you, but I can tell you what it can't be, okay, what it should not be. Your message is not something like, we're like everybody else. Your message is not, I want to get my name out there, because what that message tells me is, well, gee, here's my name, so what? Okay, it's got to be a better message than that, and that message is the message that happens to everything you're doing in your company, and basically, who the hell do you think you are to have a business around here, and why do you exist, and what's going on with that? You got to have a message, and you got to have a good one. So building that is one of the first things we work on, along with numbers, so it kind of goes in a circle. But you got to have that message, or else your marketing's not going to work well. And it's something that you have to create, and you can't hire a company or something to do this. Now you can hire companies like what we do to help you build it, but it's still your message. So you got to do that. Most of your ads have to have an offer in there. It's not enough to just say, here's my phone number, call me whenever you feel like it. That's really dumb. You need to have some, at least most of the time it's dumb. You got to have some kind of offer, like here's a reason why you need to call us, and call us right now. Okay? Here's a reason why you need to click on this link and book a call to get on our schedule right now. Here's a reason why we're giving you this really cool thing. If you do this, we'll trade you. I'll trade you this for that. There's got to be some kind of an offer in the marketing, or else it just doesn't work. And then the nuts and bolts for how you put that together for most of what's going to happen. Basically, you got to have some kind of an email system. And by email, I don't mean Gmail, I don't mean Outlook, and I don't mean the email, in most cases, that's inside your software where you're just collecting the email addresses. I mean an actual CRM. It stands for Customer Resource Management. What that means is that there's a system where if I send out emails, let's just say I sent 1,000 emails, because I have 1,000 people on my list, because it's a nice round number with some zeros on the end, right? If I send 1,000 email blast this morning, Gmail can't do that. Gmail, you can't just click 1,000 names and have it send out to Gmail. They don't like, Gmail as a system doesn't like it when you try to do that. There's lots of systems out there that can do it. We're talking about the things you've seen ads for, Constant Contact and, at MailChimp and stuff like that. Some of those are email systems, autoresponders. A few of them are CRMs. You need a real CRM, okay? Active Campaign's a CRM, Entreport's a CRM. There's, let's see, there's a couple other ones. Infusionsoft is a CRM. Those are good ones. So the difference is that if you send an email through a good CRM, if I send 1,000 of them, let's just say that 200 people actually opened the email. So the CRM can tell who opened it. They can say, these people opened it. Here's a new list of your 1,000. Here's a list of 200 who opened it. Now I have a list of 800 who didn't open it. By the way, of the 200 people who did open it, I have a list of the 50 people or the 20 people or the 3 people who clicked the link inside the email that sent them someplace like to my website. So I can tell who went through what I asked them to do through the funnel. I sent an email, these people opened it, these people clicked on it, these people went to the website. And then through tracking pixels and other stuff, I can tell what they did after they got on the website. So I can track a customer all the way through the system. So that's a good thing to track the ones who are buying, but it's also a good thing to track the ones who are in your system who didn't buy. So for example, if you sent out your annual tune-up email to 1,000 people and 200 of them opened, what are you going to do with the other 800 people? Just ignore them? Well, of course not. I get to resend them the same email because they haven't seen it yet. They didn't open it. Now, I'm not just going to resend it. I'll change the subject line or something and resend it tomorrow or next week or whatever till I get most of the people having seen this email that I want to get in touch with people. It's time for their tune-up or whatever. That's an example. You've got to have that system in place. This is one of the ways you keep your schedule full, is to be able to communicate and email. Today, you can do it for free. I mean, holy crap, 20 years ago, we were sending postcard after postcard after postcard with postage, and we had no idea whether they read the darn thing or threw it in the trash basket, whether we need to send them another one, because if they didn't read the postcard, I would like to send them another one. Email is so much easier to do with and so much cheaper to do. Basically, you can send all the emails you want for free. So you got to have that system in place, and you can't just hire a company to do it. You got to put this inside your business so it's up and running. Then you have to have a website. Everyone knows you got to have a website, and there's really a couple parts to the website. There's the organic traffic part of your website where I put it up on the internet, and I think, gosh, I hope everybody comes to my site and likes what I do, and I hope that we get to the top of the Google searches and stuff like that. So that's the side where you build a website and do SEO and all of that stuff. That's kind of a black art. I'm not going to talk a lot about that because it's a constant battle to try to get yourself up in the organic search rankings. You can always buy yourself to the top of the search rankings by doing like Google Local Business, or you can do AdWords and all the other things that drive traffic onto your website and bring you to the top of the search engines by paying them to put you at the top. So that's sometimes cost effective, sometimes it's not. Especially in our market, in our industry, it's really, really expensive sometimes to buy per click to get to the top of those search rankings. So you got to have a website though. The other side of your website is the side that I like to work with a lot more, and it's the side of the website that are like hidden pages, landing pages that are not necessarily indexed, meaning When you go to someone's website, anyone's, and you look at the little menu bar across the top or down the side where it says you pull out all the drop down menus, open up, and you can find all the pages on the website by clicking things and getting to different places. Well, those are the indexed parts of the site. Google knows where they are. They're indexed. There's a menu you can follow through to get to a certain place. There's a lot of places on your website that might exist that are not indexed. I could create a page that has, yourwebsite.com/, whatever kind of page. Now, why would I do that? Let's say we sent the emails with the really cool offer, but they're only for our clients. They're only for people that want to find out more information about the tune-up that we're sending the email about. I can create a page on the website. It's a hidden page. It's a landing page. It's the page someone lands on when they click a link somewhere. And when they click the link in the email, it takes them to the website, to a page that doesn't exist on the menus. It just takes them to a page. That page says, here's more information about the thing you clicked on, and here's something you should do while you're here. By the way, it's time for your tune-up. You should click this link, and you can go up right into my CRM, into my scheduling for my KPIs. I can do all these things and take people right to a place where they can book their call or take their next step or whatever those things are. So you want to be able to create those hidden pages inside your website. So it's not good if you have a company who's building a cookie cutter website where they say, we give you 10 pages and here you go, because you want to be able to create more of these pages whenever you're needing to. It's also not good if you've had your nephew or somebody build you a website where he built you one and you can't really change it. Not good. So you want to have a good website that's be able to be built by you whenever you need it to change something. And it doesn't mean I think you need to become a coder. I'm certainly not an HTML coder, but there are all kinds of tools you can use that will help you build good websites. And then the last piece that we'll talk about is the traffic. How do we drive traffic to websites? Basically, there's a couple of ways to drive traffic. There's active customer, which is things like, people woke up this morning saying, hey, I need to get something fixed. I'm actively looking for an air conditioning company today. So they're going to go to Google. Other active things might have been like the yellow pages if they're still using that anywhere. I don't think they are, at least not around here. But it's a way to actively drive traffic to your marketing things. So that would be like Google. The passive ones are people you can drive traffic that did not actively start looking for you, but they can find you because you found them and caused them to click something that drove them to your website, that caused them to give you their email address, and then you can make an offer and all that stuff like that and have to have the message in there. It all matters, okay? So if you're saying, hey, I got this website and it's not working and I don't know why, well, maybe your message sucks. Maybe your message just looks like everybody else. Here's a really good test. Go to your website and then on another tile or another screen or another whatever, open up a couple of competitors' websites and then just flip back and forth between them. See if yours sounds like and says much the same things that your competitors are saying. Is it saying, oh, so we have 24-hour service, or, we service all brands, and we have, these employees, and we're awesome, and we guarantee this, and if it says all the same things that, this is the best brand is this brand, or whatever, if you could swap the brands or swap the names, and it all says the same thing, then it's probably not really effective marketing, because everybody's looking at it going, yawn, I've seen that before. I saw that in the last one. You want to be completely different. So when you're building the message and the offer, here's a really good tip. Different is better than better. If you're trying to tell people that you're better, they're going to have a hard time figuring out what you mean by that. But if you tell them how you're different, it's automatically better for the people who want that thing that's different. Okay? Now this is if you find out what people want and they want something that no one else is offering and you're the only one who does it, you're automatically better. Does that make sense? Okay? Hope that makes sense. So different is better than better. In your messaging, show me how you're different all the way through your marketing. And then you have to have the nuts and bolts put together so that you can drive traffic, pay money to get that in there, and drive to getting calls on the schedule. The name of the game is to get calls on the schedule, right? If you get calls, then you get to do all these other things. You get to go and run your numbers and your sales and all that stuff. And this is back around to KPIs. How much are you paying for your traffic to get people to drive into your website, into your marketing funnel? How much is a customer worth when they do get in there? When you sell something, back to KPIs. How much is that worth when you sell it? How much is it costing you for a sale? So all those things matter. And this is kind of the conversation we end up having go around and around and around. So, you know, bottom line is with the marketing pieces, what I believe is that you can't hire someone to do this whole global project for you. It's not going to work. Otherwise, you might as well just go work for somebody because someone else is now running your company. It's up to the owner to have a vision for the company. What's the message? What's the offers and all this stuff? Now, you can hire people to do some of the bits and pieces of this. Like, look, you need to build a website? Yeah, great. Hire a website company to do some coding for you. But you should be in charge of what the content is on that site. What does it say on that homepage? What does it say on those landing pages? What exactly is the message we're putting out? Because trust me, you don't want a bunch of computer geeks that are doing coding trying to come up with your message. They're not good at it, okay? Somebody besides a bunch of computer coders needs to build your message, and somebody that's building your message shouldn't be coding your computers. So yes, you can hire companies to do bits and pieces of this, but there's not going to be any one magic button here other than the owner understanding how to do all this stuff. This is the stuff on this board that an owner should be doing all day long. Most small companies have an owner that's still in the field. You've got field people that are doing all these other things in other lists. I've shown videos on that, you know, fairly recently on, you know, how to be a tech, you know, installers and techs and stuff like that. Well, yes, those people have to exist, but if you're doing your job right as an owner, you're focused on these things. You're doing your costs, you're counting your pricing, your KPIs, you're building a sales system, you're training your people on it, you're making sure everyone understands how to do it well. You're tracking the KPIs to find out whether they are doing well, or if they're not, which parts of it are screwing up, and we go fix that and back into the training on the system. And then you're spending a lot of time on this marketing. How do you drive new business to grow your company? That is the key to being able to step yourself out of your business and become a true owner instead of a guy that's, you know, in a truck fixing air conditioners and making a buck. Because you can do that. You can do that without owning a company too. Because if that's the only goal you have, it's probably less stressful to just have a job for a company that's actually doing all this stuff and that. Now, it's a little less freedom, but it's less stressful. So frankly, the real freedom comes when you get rid of all those tech jobs and you're just doing this. You can do this stuff and go home by 4 o'clock every day. You really can. And you don't have to do on call and that like that. If that's the reason you started a business, then this is the key, is getting these kinds of things done. Now, this isn't everything, but it's really the 3 main areas that we kind of think of, at least the way I think of it. So if you need some help with this, like how to set this stuff up, let me know. That's what we do. You know, the pricing question, like I said this morning, guy called me, we were talking about it for about 15, 20 minutes, and it led into discussions about the sales process and the kind of customers you're attracting, because clearly if you're setting your prices as the lowest price in town, that says something about your marketing. That becomes a message, or part of your message. You're basically saying, hey, we're the cheapest guys in town. If you're telling everybody that your prices are very similar to everybody else, that's a different message. If you're telling everybody we're a premium price company for a certain kind of customer, that's a different message. You don't have to be mean about it, but there is a difference in how all these things fit together. So I hope that helps. If you need some help, let me know. Go ahead, comment below, and we'll talk soon.